It's feeling pretty nice in the mountains of southern Appalachia this morning. We've had a lot of the same cool air that some of you have had. It's beginning to go away though. Got pretty warm yesterday on up in the day, so I knew it wouldn't last. Matt reminded me every time I'd say how nice it was, he'd say, you know it's not gonna last. I said, I know, summer will come back, the heat will come back, but it sure has been nice, and it feels nice this morning too. So Matt and I are out and about this morning trying to see what we can do in the garden. Mostly at this point it's only harvesting. That's all that's left in the garden. By this point of the year, me and Matt both just kind of give up on the weeds and let them take over what they will. We know that it won't be long before it's all gone anyway. So I know we need to get tomatoes. That's pretty much an everyday thing this time of the year. We need to get some tomatoes. And the main thing we need to do is we have not pulled up our garlic. We're past time of doing that. The stalks are all brown and dead looking, but I know the garlic will still be okay. So we definitely need to pull that up today and get it drying on the porch, and maybe look for some cucumbers and squash. That's another daily thing you have to do. But mostly this time of the year, it's really noticing that the garden is winding down on you. It's really been a great garden for us this year though. This flower bed right outside the kitchen window is a good example. You can see a lot of weeds, plants that have died back. But you can still see some that are blooming. That's one of our little anemones starting to bloom. It would look really good if the rest of these weeds, and that's where the hostas have finished blooming, was cleaned out, but I've not got to this bed yet. Then you can see the exuberance of the cosmos and how tall and wieldy they are, leggy. They've all fell over this way. The coneflowers have fell over that way. So definitely all this needs to be cut back. Pretty, even though it's kind of out of bounds and just has grown until it can't hardly grow no more without just falling over. Matt had to beat back the weeds so we could get up here, and then you can see the weeds in here, how they've took over. And you can see, because we've waited so long, look, right there's a new shoot of garlic. I don't even know if I should pull that up. I should just leave it for next year. These were the two kind that we planted in here in this one. Let's see, they were the music and, I can get that off, Ukrainian red, I think. Oh, and another one, let's see. Oh, that's Ukrainian red too. I need to take those with me. Let's see if we can pull some of it up. So, doesn't look bad. There's another one that the bulb didn't come up with it. That's what our tardiness has caused. I guess I will just leave those instead of digging through it. And we'll already have some garlic planted for next year. Matt and I, in 2 or 3 places in the yard, have some garlic that I think of as ornamental. It come from Granny, but it come from my great Aunt Susie. And see, there's another one, and another one. And we just leave it growing almost like it's an ornamental. I think of it as our emergency garlic. It's there if we need it. Oh goodness, we may not get any garlic. We've waited so long. That's what's happening, is it's all, there's another one, coming off at the, we've waited so long, the stem has just broke off. So to get it, you could get it, we'll just have to dig down in there, but at this late date, I wonder if we should just leave it and let it start coming up. That's a little bitty one. Some of it didn't even grow though, so I don't know, maybe we didn't get the right kind this year. Maybe we usually have great garlic, but those, even the ones that we're pulling up, are really tiny. So I don't know, I think Matt, the rest of them we'll just leave and hope they'll sprout out like that one did, and we'll know they're there. Ooh, look at that big spider over there. Let's see if I can make him jump. There he goes. Okay, maybe the next bed will do better. This bed has been took over by, those are morning glories. Just pull them up. So in this one we had the same kind. No, there's a different one. Degansky, maybe? Yeah, Degansky. Which up here you can see either they've died back, and I think that's what happened, because I would have noticed if they hadn't done any good. Let's see if they're any better. That's a bigger one. That one's no bigger though. That one broke off. Now that's more like it. That's usually about the size that we grow. Another one that just come up at the stem. That's one of the biggest ones that we've had. That's how they usually are, but not this year. There's another big one. And another one that broke off. This raised bed still looks amazing because this is our sweet potatoes. And Matt, have you noticed how lush these sweet potatoes are?
Yeah.
You know why I think it is?
Because there was
a landfill in it?
No, I was going to say because there was a mighty gardener man helped plant them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's true too. Now, there is some stuff growing from that compost landfill that I had in here. And I say these look beautiful, but, you know, they could be all vines and no taters, as we say, but hopefully not. I see some weeds out there, but right here's a watermelon growing up in the middle of it. And look what I found under here. There's a watermelon. So that's amazing. That's one we inadvertently planted, but maybe it still looks nice and healthy. Maybe it'll get big enough to eat. Before something else eats it, I hope I'll get to eat it. See any more in there? I think that's the only one. So they look good. Hopefully that means we're going to have some good sweet potatoes. But this is the most pitiful garlic harvest I think we've ever had, Matt.
Pretty low, ain't it?
That's terrible, yeah. But I can't complain. The rest of our garden's been so good. So it could be the garlic that was varieties we never grew before. It could be that. I need to go back to what we planted before. It could be all the rain. Maybe it didn't like it. I don't know. Even though we didn't harvest it. It's not that we didn't take care of it. We didn't harvest it when we should have. We waited a longer time. Even that, though, shouldn't have made these little bitty ones. Little tiny ones, like that one, and even that one. That's no bigger than when we planted them last November. Now, some of them did grow, but pretty pitiful. Again, though, I'm not going to complain because the rest of our garden has been so good. The back garden has become overgrown, and just, it's like the exuberance of gardens and summer in general, just the fauna around you, the woods around you in southern Appalachia. It's just, it goes along, and of course it starts out all orderly and neat, and then it's really lush, and then it's even lusher. It's almost like you're living in a beautiful jungle, and then all of a sudden it's not. I mean, you can just see it around the edges getting rusty. Is what I call it, rusty around the edges, things beginning to die back. And it's amazing how quickly that can happen. One day you're like, man, this is the most beautiful lush garden, and the next you're like, I see a little brown, and the next you're like, oh my goodness, that whole spot's just died out. So that's the time that we're at, but it's to be expected. This is August, so, and a lot of this stuff has been growing since at least early May, if not even before that, some of it. So like those sneaky squash and zucchini over there that I planted without telling Granny. So it's time for it to do that. It's amazing though to watch that every year. It never gets old to me, just paying attention and seeing what's beginning to die back, and how fast when it starts, how fast that happens. But then even in the middle of all that, there's still some stuff producing. There's sneaky squash and zucchini, they're still producing. Of course, the Malabar spinach and the tomatoes Matt's getting, the Tommy toes. So there's still a lot of bounty, even though it's beginning to look rather ratty and rusty around the edges. This has been a really beautiful part of the garden, but you can see the flowers are beginning to flop. Here, these cone flowers are flopped over. The salvia is about done for, and even some of the flowers over in the pots have got so big they're flopping over. The same for the herb bed. It's just all grown up together, really big, and some of it's beginning to die back. I should have never let that ground cherry grow in there, but I did, and that means I'll have more in there next year. Someone asked in one of the videos recently, I said this was sage, and they said they didn't think it was, but it's clary sage. It's clary sage, and we planted it thinking that we would use it medicinally. We've not done that, but it's a pretty plant though. I do have some more what you think of as sage over there under the hyssop that's now grew all the way down over it this year, so I hope it's still under there. But lots of, like I said, kind of you can see the example of the stuff falling over and dying back, but then a lot of stuff still here, still growing. Look at this beautiful lemon balm, which lemon balm does go crazy. Got some lavender down under there. Need to cut the lemon balm back. I've cut it back I don't know how many times this year already. And then the hyssop. The bees just love it. And we planted it for medicinal use too, but we've never used it medicinally. It's just something pretty, and pollinators love it. Matt's already got a basket full. Pretty tomatoes. That one's got a bad place right there, but we'll still take it. And whoops, sorry, Matt. Now that I've thrown it, it'll have another bad place. I didn't mean to. It just dropped out. Another pretty one. Here's your one. You won't notice the split when you put it in a jar. We still need to dig our potatoes that were back here. You can see we've let the weeds take over them too, but there's taters in there. There's one of the stalks that's left, but there are some. There's one.
I've been waiting on my biscuits to get done. I must have done something wrong to me that I can't get them done.
You can see how the things down here is dying back too, especially the beans. Flowers are still beautiful. And these beans down here, the mother stallard, they're still looking pretty good. Matt's gonna pick the Randy Hoopers down here. They look like they're on their way out for sure.
They make better, though, than these just produce better
than anything we've had down here.
Yeah. Better than any past years.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna keep planting them. And we'd saved the seed, but you can see there those yellow ones. So we had one plant that was yellow. So who knows next year, but I hope we'll have the red ones. I mean, the yellow one was okay too, but I just especially love those red ones, and they get so big and they're so beautiful. They're kind of a reddish yellow, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Yellow reddish, however how you want to say it.
Peaked red.
Peaked red. Now these beans still look pretty good. This is the mother stallard. There's one. I see some blooms still back there. Beautiful old maid here on the end. This is one of the bush cucumbers that we planted. It's the first time we planted them in so long, but they've done good. You can see there's some little bitty ones. But the plant is beginning to look rusty now, so I don't know if those will get to grow to big enough for us to eat or not. I hope so. We've all enjoyed the blueberries. Even though my hands are dirty, I'm gonna eat them anyway. But no one's enjoyed them more than Ira. There's some pretty phlox still growing, hiding back here behind the blueberry. We still haven't pulled up the ground barrier there, weed barrier that we had for the cabbage, and we've still not planted no fall things, even though we want to. I don't know, we may just not get it done this year. These are all the flowers I planted with abandon. Some of them you can see are tall, really tall. And some of them have fallen out too. I've been cutting the ones that fall over out, cutting them back. The ones that fall over, cutting them back out of the way. But we should have zinnias all the way up to frost. There's a pretty yellow one. And the zinnias are really the only ones that grew here. I planted a lot of different varieties, but they're the ones that grew. Now you can see a gazania down there. What happened to those is I planted them. I bought those from Betty and Pat, and I didn't realize they would stay small. So the zinnias, they were beautiful until the zinnias got big enough to shade them out. That was my mistake. But aren't these lovely? What's your question, Matt?
Is there literally a difference between a zinnia and a gazania?
Yeah, I don't know what, but the gazanias look more like a daisy, I guess. Then the other thing we did have grow here was these sunflowers, which were supposed to be miniature, and they're not. Look at that one, and you see the grasshopper right there? See it? It's been really pretty, though. Not very miniature. I guess this one was a little bit shorter. It's already fell over. I've seen the birds out here eating on it. This part of the garden still looks pretty lush. You see any pumpkins back there, Matt?
I seen one there a minute ago.
I planted 2 pumpkins.
Butternut right there, and there's a pumpkin.
Is it? Is there a butternut back there?
What it looks like.
Oh.
It's about that long.
Yeah, I thought I only planted pumpkins, but maybe
There's a pumpkin about that big around.
Yeah, I planted the sugar pumpkins. I thought I just planted 2 of them, but see, I must have planted something else too. And then the Mississippi pink eyes. So again, I made the mistake I always make. I should have never planted them that close together, but of course it's too late at this stage. The Mississippi pink eyes are just beginning to turn. There's one. And that may be the only peas we get since the deer ate the others. More zinnias down here. Aren't these pretty? All these different colors together. Old maids is what we call them, what Granny and my grandmothers called them. Aren't they pretty? There's one of the pumpkins right there, and that's about as big as that one would get. So hopefully it'll continue to mature, and we'll be able to use that one maybe for Thanksgiving. This zucchini is still looking good here. Oh, and I see one down in there. It has produced so much for us. It's been great. These squash produced a lot too, but you can see they're beginning to die back. I see a squash over there though that needs to be got. And I see some new little ones right there. I'll just lay them right there. This has been a really good squash and zucchini year, and I'm sure it's because of the rain that we had, all that early rain. There's another one of our cucumbers. I got these yesterday though, so there's probably not none to get unless I missed one, but you can see they're beginning to look brown too. The deal down here smells amazing. Matt must have rubbed up against it.
This watermelon over here.
Yeah, have we got a watermelon?
Got some little bitty ones.
Little tiny ones. This is our okra. We've never been this late in the year getting okra.
I don't know if we're gonna get in or not.
I don't know either. There's one growing. So maybe in a day or two we'll have our first mess of okra, which would be extremely late. I don't really see any others though. It's getting tall. It's about waist high on me, or chest high, some of them. So this was the winter squash, our second planting of winter squash. I'm worried that it won't have time to actually mature.
No bar did. Big as a dang hubcap.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, I'll go over there and look. Here's the little watermelon Matt was talking about. Look right there. This was the one that someone sent me and told me that I should plant it. It's going to be a little watermelon, but of course bigger than that. But maybe it'll grow big enough that I get to taste it. I hope so. Oh, so there's one of our squash. It's rather strange, but that is a green and white striped cushaw, but it's awful fat instead of long, but it'll be good though. That's great. At least we've got one winter squash. Oh, and I forgot about this one. There's another one. Then we've got the strange ones that's out in the backyard that I still don't know what they are, the volunteer ones. Maybe that's what they are, but I don't think so because they're turning orange instead of green and white. This is our sea of phlox, but you can see most of it has went to seed. It's dying back too. There's a few still blooming up here. Now that I showed you a moment ago was really beautiful back there, but this up here is just definitely on its way out. And there's the butternut Matt was talking about. So I obviously did plant a butternut along with those pumpkins that I planted. This is the bee balm that was so pretty in one of our last videos we showed. It was the purple bloom with the bumblebees all over it. You can see it's dying back too. And the beans have really, really died back. We've canned probably all we'll can this year, but there will be more to eat fresh. And some that we wanted to save for seed, especially these, what was called the Grammy bean when they sent it to us. We want to save some of those seeds, so a lot of those we may leave, but there's still some greasy beans on this side. There's some little ones. Here they are holding hands across the aisle too. I think I'll just leave them this time, just go under them. Some nice beans here still though. I don't know, we may have to do another canning, but we want to save some seed. This has been a really pretty sunflower that I planted at one of the ends of the bean rows. There's that one. They're being over though, and then there's that one. Aren't they pretty together? When they were standing up, they really were, but now they've kind of flopped. Then there was this one, really pretty sunflower. You see how pretty that one still is. And a lot of you told me, I said I didn't know what it was, that it was a teddy bear. You can see why it would be called a teddy bear sunflower. Really pretty. There's one that's already went to seed. I've seen the birds out here on these too. I picked these. These are the little match cherry that I cut back so hard, and they are flushing back out. There's one that I missed. So here's some of the volunteer squash. Now that one looks like a butternut. That may be what that is. And that could be a butternut. It's just a strange shape. Here's the ones that was growing up the vine. There's that big one and then that little one. There's some down here too. And then some, that's a little bitty one. Never did make it much, and that one's small down there. But we'll try to eat all of them, whatever they are, if they're edible, and I'm sure they will be. One little cucumber and a squash bug to go along with it. I pulled out most of the cucumbers back here, but left the ones on this end that were still looking pretty good. There's a little one, maybe it'll grow before the squash bugs decimate the plant the rest of the way. Another little tomato that I missed. And another one. Nasturtiums are looking pretty, but they've not been as pretty as they usually are. Now they are pretty, but they've just somehow not been as pretty. There's some back there too. These plants are still looking beautiful. So not a bad morning haul. Only disappointment was the garlic. Much cooler than our last popsicle talk. The heat beat us that day and we quit. This is nice. Don't you think?
Much nicer.
Sort of a sad time in the garden to see it all die back, but in another way, you're kind of glad because you're tired of it. Tired of putting up, tired of taking care of it, ready to move on to things that you do in the winter months, which for Matt is hunt, so he's ready for that.
Hunt and firewood.
Yeah, he said out there when we were getting the Tommy toes that he couldn't pay attention because he was like a 13-year-old boy looking forward to deer season. So your mind does start, thinking about other stuff. And plus, there's just nothing you can do about it. You can't grow Cherokee purples in the cold. you know it's coming. So.
In my defense, I was doing the same thing in February.
Well, that's true. It is interesting, though, to see the difference in the stuff that we planted, like, say, early May, late April, and then the stuff that we planted, in June or something, like the okra and the winter squash. I can see it really good from right here. And those peas, Mississippi peas up there, they all still look real lush and green. I'm just afraid they're not going to have time to fully develop. Now, the peas will probably be okay, but the rest of the stuff, the winter squash mostly. And we do have, you know, like Matt kept reminding me all this week, warm weather's coming back. It's true, it is, but it just changes the slant of the sun, especially for us on the north side. It gets lower in the sky, so we don't get as much sunshine. But just the nature of things just changes. So I don't know if those will all ripen to maturity or not. I'm beginning to wonder if we're ever going to get any okra. Surely by this time next week we'll have been eating our first mess of okra.
I hope so. I ain't had none yet.
It's just strange that but it's, again, we didn't plant that till June, I guess. Maybe up in June. And that at the big garden, we just planted it in a place that it didn't do no good. Turned out we could have, it's always hindsight, you know, you can always look back, but we had all that space left between the rows of corn that we thought we was going to put stuff in, and we never did, so we could have put 2 big rows of okra right there if we wanted to. So next year we're going to plan better. I say that every year, though, about planting stuff too close together, and I just do it again. Like even this year, I probably said it, and then come June, I planted those pumpkin by the Mississippi pink eyes and thought, oh, they'll just be fine. Well, they've just took over. When you've got bare ground, it's just so, if it's in a raised bed or if it's in the actual ground, it's just so tempting to be like, I could plant this and I could plant that, and not really thinking about how their growth habit. Or for me it is. I'm probably the only one like that, but.
You have a disorder.
What's it called?
Well, I don't know what
Plant
it's
too
called.
much.
But, yeah. If you see a spot that's nothing in it, you must put something in it.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, it wasn't a bad haul, though, for a morning. And we've done that like 3 times this week, so our garden has really done good this year. It was all that ample rain.
Done way better than last year.
Yeah, the only thing that's not done good is the winter squash, and that was our fault and the okra, both our fault for planting it in bad places down the big garden, thinking that's all we would need, and then planting this up here late. And then, you know, the garlic, really, I don't know if that was our fault. Well, I guess maybe it was my fault for trying something different. I should have just planted what we planted the past few years before that. Grow what you know. So, but we can't complain really about the garlic either, just because everything else has been so good. It's been a really good garden year.
Yep.
For us.
Which means this winter's going to be a really good eating winter.
Mm-hmm.
No.
We even managed to grow a lot of cucumbers and the squash and the zucchini in spite of the squash bug. Got plenty of pickles on the shelves and plenty of green beans and some potatoes and tomatoes.
And got some green tomato pickles now.
Yeah, Matt made some pickles, so.
And that turned out to be a fiasco.
Matt had a time. We didn't have the vinegar. Then we tried to get the vinegar, and they sent the wrong thing. And
Not enough.
Not enough.
And I was halfway into it, and then they didn't want to seal. And then I had to water bath them, which I didn't want to do. But they finally sealed. But the fiasco part of it was, I cut up all the peppers. Part of those peppers, I didn't know what they were. Somebody sent them, did you say? A viewer?
Yeah, a seed that they thought Matt would like, and he does, so it's great. It's like merchant. I don't know if they say it marchant or merchant, but pepper. It's a hot pepper.
Anyway, I cut all those up barehanded and then braked all the seeds and everything out of the inside with my bare hands, and I got burnt. And I've never had that happen. I've handled peppers before, but I guess not in that quantity.
Yeah.
And most time I don't take the seeds out of them, but I decided to this year for whatever reason. So I raked them all out with my fingers and my fingernails. And my hands got on fire, and they stayed that way for a day.
Mm-hmm.
They were just pulsating hot, and it was like you could actually feel of them, and it felt like they felt like all the time you had them stuck up too close to a campfire. Mm-hmm. And it was miserable.
It is miserable. I seen Matt doing it, and I started to tell him he should put gloves on, but I figured he'd he won't listen to me, so I never said nothing. I've done that one time before, years and years ago. Corey and Katie was still clogging for the folk school, and one of the other cloggers, an older man, he brought some peppers and wanted me to have them because he knew me and Matt grew a garden, and he gave them to Corey and Katie and said, I forgot these, take these to your mama. And it was 2 great old big bags of peppers, and they looked like sweet peppers, and I didn't taste them, but I cut them all up to put them in the freezer, and it turned out they were hot peppers. And so I had the same thing with Matt. My hands just killed me. I never made that mistake but that one time. But then the next week at clogging, I said, Zane, was those hot peppers? He said, oh yeah, they're hot peppers. That's all me and Mama grow. We love them. And I was like, well, Corey and Katie didn't tell me. And he said, those little rats, I told them that they were, Corey and Katie was what then, about 5th grade or something. He said, those little rats, he said, I told them to tell you that they were hot. I said, well, they did not. And they probably just forgot or whatever.
Did you tell him you got burned?
Yeah, I told him. I said my hands throbbed for the rest of that day into the next day. I couldn't hardly sleep that night. He's like, oh yeah, they'll burn you up. He said, I'm sorry, I should have told you. And I said, no, it's fine, it's fine. It's all over now. But they were hot peppers. And I should have just tasted one of them, the first, like the one I cut up, the first one to see, but I didn't even think about it. I just thought they look like sweet peppers, and that's probably what they are.
I put a few cayennes in that, too. And some jalapenos. I mean, I've had jalapenos lots, and they ain't never bothered me like that. So, these might be a little on the spicy side.
Well, you and Papa and Austin will like them.
Yeah, nobody else will eat them. I made
I don't
12
like hot
quarts of them. So that's more than I made last year. So
Well, good.
that should last, and if they're that super hot, they may last a little longer than that.
Matt ate all the ones from last year.
Gosh, yeah, one of them was good. Them as good of ones as I have ever eaten that we made last year. And I don't even remember the peppers we put in them, do you?
No, I think we had to buy some because our peppers done so bad last year.
Oh, I think my memory, they were Anaheims.
Yeah,
weren't
maybe
they?
that's all I could find, yeah.
And those were good. If these turn out to be too hot, then we'll have to try to remember that next year because that was about right.
Seems like we had maybe a few cayennes last year. I don't know because I didn't eat them. I can't remember. Our cayenne peppers did pretty good back here, but they would have done much better if I hadn't let the Tommy Toes match cherry over. I forgot about them, and all year I kept thinking those other peppers was the cayenne all summer, thinking when are they going to turn? Well, that wasn't ever the cayenne. They were under the tomatoes where I couldn't see them. So I won't do that next year. I won't let the volunteers run as free as I did this year. It's just so tempting, though, because they do so good. But yeah, Matt had a time, but he finally persevered and got it done. Got you some hot tomatoes.
Yep. Maybe so hot I got to drink buttermilk with them.
Maybe. I guess you'll take some to deer camp for you and Papa.
Oh, yeah. I will.
We still got to go, or Matt does. He'll probably go. I got some other stuff I got to do, but go to the big garden and get some corn. We've still been enjoying our corn. We had some this week, and Paul and Granny ate with us, and they thought it was delicious, too. I mean, they've been eating it, too, but Paul was just like, man, this is the best corn.
Well, can you see all them acorns? Them trees are loaded.
What does that mean, a heavy mass? What does that mean?
I don't know what it means other than that they just really produced. Which a lot of people that hunts don't like that because there's too many of them and it's harder to find the animals, but I'm the opposite. I like to see a good year of mass because I know it's good for them.
Yeah.
And they're going to have plenty to eat, and even whether it's harder to hunt them or whatever, I don't care. I know that's good for all the animals, and I like to see that. It makes me happy.
Yeah. I'm always hoping, of course, it means it's going to be a bad winter. Not bad, I don't want nobody to be injured or anything like that, but I mean bad as in we're going to have a lot of cold and snow here, which we usually don't. So, always hoping for snow. Any sign like that, I take it like maybe that means it's going to snow a lot.
They sure are. A lot of them, some of those limbs are bowing because they've
I
got
see
so
that.
many on them.
I see that.
So that's good.
Matt's talked about, those oaks in front of our house, we love them, we don't want to cut them, but Matt's talked about trimming some of the limbs, because they reach out over the garden area and shade it some, but we've never accomplished that. You could take your tree stand and climb up in them.
I've done that before on those trees.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, not very high, but they need to be on up in them, need to be trimmed for the garden's sake, but I kind of don't want to do it just because it'd make them ugly.
Yeah.
It's kind of pretty like they are now.
Yeah. The, what did you call it, a lift? Is that what you'd get to do that, or something to lift you up in there?
Yeah, you could rent a hydraulic lift and back it up once the garden season's over. Probably have to take those cow panels down or whatever and just get right on the edge of the bank and let it lift that thing up in there, and I could cut them that way. Or I could put me a set of hooks on and climb.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm going to do that.
Or we could get somebody else to do it that does that every day.
That'd be a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
I've never used those things, and I'm not starting at this age.
Matt was still working. He sent me a picture one day, and he was really high up, I guess in some kind of lift like that, trimming trees like that day, what he had to do for the county. And I was like, gosh, I'm glad I'm not up in that thing trying to cut trees.
That lift would go. It was actually ours. We it belonged to our shop in the county there in our department, and that thing would go 50 feet, and it was maxed out. And of course, I was tied off in the basket of that thing, but I would climb up on the rails to get just a little bit more extra reach, trying to trim some trees for the rec park.
Yeah, Matt was too high. He sent me the picture. I was like, please be careful. Please,
It was pretty high.
Please be careful.
And when you get them extended out that far, every move you make, the whole boom will shake and move.
When I think about stuff like that, when the World's Fair come to Knoxville, when was that, Matt?
1982.
1982. Our 4-H, I belonged to 4-H in those days, and our 4-H group raised money. We worked for Whitmire, done stuff at his house. We done all kinds of stuff, try to raise money to go, and we did. The only reason Mom and Daddy let me go was my Uncle Henry and his wife Sue went. Their kids was in 4-H too, so they went, so I went with them. Anyways, how I got to go. But it was like the Ferris wheel. I don't know, was it supposed to be the world's biggest? I don't know.
So.
It was a great big one, and we rode it. I would ride anything in those days. I loved to ride stuff.
Did you like that?
Well, I liked it fine. It was a great old big, of course, because it was so big, but it was a great old big car, like, you know, the ones that you have at your little local fair. What, like maybe the most 4 people or something can fit in it. This one was so big. It was like me and my cousins, and then like 2 boys from our group, and then like girls that we didn't know, little girls, and they were like Girl Scouts. They had on their uniform, you know. And one of the boys, the oldest one of us from our group, he was real mischievous, and he liked to aggravate people. So the nature of Ferris wheels is once you're done, then, you know, people start getting off, they have to, you know, it's just a process. So we were stuck way up high for a long time while they were letting people off. And he started saying, you know, trying to scare those little girls. We all knew him well enough to just totally ignore him, and he would shut up. But he started trying to scare them about how we were going to fall. And then he started standing up and rocking that car. And yeah, it was unnerving. He scared me too. But again, I knew him well enough to know I never said a word. But it was just totally teenage boy ridiculousness, you know, being mean. But that's what it always makes me think of. And those poor little girls, because they didn't know us and didn't know him. We all, the ones from our group, knew, well, this is typical, you know, he does stuff like this all the time. But yeah, it reminds me of that. But that was my only time I was scared, was when he was rocking the cart like that. And at the same time saying, look how high we are, what if we fall? You know, it's like I'd never even thought of that. I was just like, oh, this is so fun. You can see so far, and, you know, the motion of swinging, until he said that.
And he sucked all the fun out of it.
Yeah, he sucked all the fun out of it for sure. Yeah, he sure did. It was a neat thing, though. I remember, you know, different parts of it that day, things we got to see and do and all that.
You know what's funny? We didn't know each other then. But my daddy was there at that thing too.
Was he?
Yeah, you might have
Wouldn't
saw
it be
him.
neat if we were there on the same day? I have no memory. I used to have somewhere in my keepsake box, I had like the tickets. I don't even know if I still have them. And he probably don't remember what day he was there anyway. But yeah, maybe we were there at the same time. What is it?
That's after something.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just trying to make sure it ain't a copperhead or something.
That'd be neat. We were there at the same time if we was.
Yep.
So he just went to have fun and see the sights, or
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
went with a woman.
Yeah.
He was womanizing, was he, or
A little bit,
he
yeah.
and she-ing?
Yep.
Yeah. Fun times. I used to love to ride rides like that when I was little. Six Flags and Lake Winnebagoca. We'd go, that was like the 8th grade trip at Martins Creek, so that was, you just look forward to that all through your school. You know, I'm going to get big enough to actually go, but I don't like that now.
Me neither.
I get queasy and nauseated, and I don't know if it's the knowledge, like Matt said, the boy that day, how he sucked all the fun out of it. Now, after that, I continued to ride rides and loved them. But if now I just know one little thing goes wrong, it could be a terrible accident, or if it's something about my just person that I get sick easier or something, like I get queasy as far as motion, you know, get dizzy easier, swimmy headed. Yeah.
You go get your ears blowed out.
Yeah, I might need to. I used to love it though, the thrill of riding a roller coaster. I found out when I didn't like it anymore was when Corey and Katie got big enough to go to things like that, and now they never wanted to ride. They didn't like rides, but you know, in the beginning when we tried to get them to ride like the Scrambler or something, and then I found out, oh my goodness, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to throw up. And they didn't like it anyway. Neither one of them ever liked stuff like that. But they were little enough that I would ride stuff like that with them, just at the Georgia Mountain Fair or whatever. And no, they didn't like it.
Do you eat cotton candy?
Oh, I loved
Did you
cotton
like
candy. Oh yeah, I loved it.
Not
Loved
me.
it. Yeah, I loved cotton candy.
I never could cut that stuff.
Oh, I loved it.
Now, I liked their nasty, greasy, slimy hot dogs that they had.
Where was we? Let's see. I don't think it was the college. The college, we finally had they had a popcorn machine, so we could make popcorn and give it away at events. But somewhere I was at, I guess it must have been Corey and Katie's elementary school maybe, or one of the schools they went to had a cotton candy machine like that. And so they'd make cotton candy and then sell it to raise money. I still loved it. I'd get it and eat it and just let it melt on your tongue. Pick it off, and then your fingers would be all sticky.
You know, it's funny. I can eat almost anything, whether I like it or not, and I don't have any texture issue with anything or any food except that. There's just something about that.
Because it's cottony.
It's like eating wall insulation.
Yeah, it is kind of, but then when it hits your tongue, it just melts.
I don't even like the taste of it either. I just don't like it.
I like it. Pink and blue, and probably my favorite thing, thinking about when the fair would come to Murphy, which has not happened in forever. But when I was a little girl, it come once a year. I guess it come to Canton like that too, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Labor Day.
I liked riding the carousel, the ponies, that went up and down. And I really don't remember them having, they had a Ferris wheel. I remember riding that, and probably like the Scrambler or something like that. And I was never good at playing games, and I was too shy anyway to try to throw something and knock the pins over or something like that, too backward. But I loved the little ducks that you could pick up the ducks in the water. I loved that. I was just more I wanted to just play instead of actually trying to win something. I just wanted to watch those little ducks go round and round. I just thought that was just so fascinating. I loved water when I was little, and still do, playing in water like that. So that was my favorite thing when I think about the fair, was the ducks that you could pick up. And there was no pressure, because you just picked it up, and either you won something or you didn't,
I liked the awful well liked the funnel cake too.
Yeah, I like funnel cake.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't even been to anything like that in
No.
literal decades.
No. We used to take the girls to Georgia Mountain sometimes, and we probably wouldn't have even done that, but Matt Saint, Wanda and Uncle Sam, they would encourage us to do that because they'd want to go too, and they'd go with us, and they have a place up at the lake, so they'd go, and the girls enjoyed it, but they never were much on rides, were
No,
they?
never
They
were.
didn't never like it like I did. They were scared. They didn't like it. It made them feel queasy and all that. We got a visitor. I felt something on my leg. Binks.
Remember we took them to Gatlinburg one time and put them on them little teacups,
Yeah.
little teacup rides, and they don't do nothing really, but they was just hanging
Yeah.
on like it was about to blast off.
Yeah. The last time I went to anything like that with them, it's been forever ago, but it's the time your daddy and Janet took us to Ghost Town.
Yeah.
And I don't know, how old were they? Maybe in like middle school?
I don't know.
Maybe something like that, I guess. And that was an experience. It was fun. I'm glad we went. It's good memories. We've got good pictures from that day. Matt didn't go. I'd go with Corey and Katie sometimes in the summer, and we'd stay a week with Papa. We'd stay a week with Miss Cindy. And so one year, Papa wanted to take them. It was one of the times Ghost Town had opened back up, and he wanted to take them to Ghost Town, so we went. Well, my first scare was on the ride getting there. You could either ride up in a bus, or you could ride up, do the chairlifts. Well, we rode up in the bus, and that was terrifying. Terrifying. I didn't even think the bus could make it up there, and you just think about it rolling backwards. So then we had a beautiful day. It was perfect. I enjoyed everything, and even the gunfighters, they got to see that and all that, and rode some rides and just enjoyed everything there. And then on the way back, they said, well, we'll do the chair lifts on the way down. And I was like, okay, because, that was terrifying. Oh, my goodness, that was even worse.
Yeah.
I prayed all the way to the bottom, and I can't remember who I rode with, Katie or Corey. I think Papa rode by himself, and then the other one rode with Nana. And I didn't say a word, of course, because I didn't want to scare them, but I was just like praying, oh my Lord, dear Lord, please let me live to get off this thing. I'll never get this high up in the air again. Please just let me get off this
What's
thing.
bad is when you first get on the lift, you're up there low to the ground and on flat ground, and then just as soon as you leave,
Yeah.
and then there's all that open air, and you start off, and it just immediately gets
Yeah.
a long distance from you to the ground, and there ain't nothing you can do but
No,
sit ride it
I
out.
know it. I was, and I wasn't going to scare. Like I said, I don't even remember if I was with Katie or Corey, which one was with me. I think we've got pictures we took of Nana in front of us, so I could probably tell from that. But I was like, I can't say nothing, but I was praying.
I rode that thing when I was a boy.
So it ain't even open now, is it? No
No.
more Ghost Town. Yeah. So I'm glad we went. It was a good day, even though I got scared on the way up and scared on the way down. But that was the last time I guess I've been anywhere like that. Well, you never did eat breakfast, did you? So now I've fed you a popsicle for breakfast. I didn't eat
I'm
nothing
all
either.
out of sorts now.
I've ate my blueberries and a few tomatoes and a popsicle.
I'm about almost 3 hours past breakfast and had a popsicle and too close to lunch to do anything. So I'm
Maybe.
just
Are you
messed
about
up.
to faint? Should I catch you?
I may fall all the way out. I don't believe you can catch me.
I might. I could break your fall at least. Maybe.
Probably what you'd do is step out of the way, and then when I fell, then you'd kick me in the head.
No, I would never do you like that. I would try my best to break your fall. Well, you want to go in and scare up something to eat?
Yeah, I do. I'm starving.
We really appreciate you visiting with us today. We're always glad when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia. And you've stuck with us this whole gardening year, and it's been a really good one. And it's not over yet. It's just that on a day like today, you can see the end's definitely coming.
Mm-hmm.